Hi everyone, and welcome to the Tesla Economist. Hit the thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe. Tesla's share price is getting so high, a lot of people are saying it's a bubble. Some of them were saying it when the stock price was one fifth of what it is today, too. And if the stock price goes up 5 times more again, they're likely to still be saying it then. But a bubble is only a bubble if it bursts. What if Tesla doesn't burst? Let's compare Tesla to several other major bubbles. We can't talk about bubbles without mentioning the most famous in history, tulip mania. We're at the peak of we're at the peak a tulip bulb sold for the price of a house. But people eventually realized that they could simply just grow more bulbs, and it wasn't actually that scarce after all. And then the prices plummeted. As for Tesla, their technology is scarce. No competition has shown any signs of coming close yet. So I don't think they can crash the same way Tulip Mania has. Another bubble was the stock market in the 20s. America was doing amazing at the time. Electricity was creating so many new industries. Radio was becoming popular in every household. The stock market was booming as a result. People were also buying stocks on margin. They would put down $100 and buy perhaps $400 of stock, similar to how we do a mortgage today, except you can't live in your stock. Eventually, there wasn't enough money to buy any more stock, and it all crashed. Tesla was growing dramatically before the rest of the market started taking off, and Tesla has been growing more than the market has. So, although the broad market is up and perhaps maybe a bubble, it's not the reason that Tesla is up. Also, people aren't allowed to buy stock on margin the same way they could back then. In Japan, in the 80s, it was booming like never seen before. It seemed like the country and the economy of the future. So much so that, if I recall correctly, Tokyo was as valuable as the entire United States, and the Emperor's Palace was as valuable as California. I know it sounds crazy, but I think it was something like that. Anyway, in hindsight, that does sound crazy, and just how one small country can be that valuable. So now let's look at Tesla, um, and their valuation is as much as all the other car companies combined. So maybe that does sound a bit crazy too. But even today, over 30 years later, the Nikkei in the Tokyo, um, the Japanese stock market has still not recovered from the highs it had then, 30 years later. So that's a serious bubble. If Tesla is a bubble now, I don't think it would take 30 years for it to get back to this level if the bubble burst. So Tesla stock price is nowhere near as crazy as the Japanese asset bubble. And then, of course, we have the dot-com bubble, everyone's favorite. Okay, so we have, like the dot-com, we have new technologies of electric vehicles and full self-driving. So, like in the dot-com, we had web technologies with browsers, and Netscape had the browsers. And then everyone can see lots of commercial future with it, and they get excited like they did in the dot-com bubble. The dot-com bubble was getting people excited about how much money e-commerce could make, and what if this is the future of shopping? It could be huge, suddenly everyone thought. So anything that could be some sort of way of selling online was suddenly worth millions or tens of millions or more. But at the end of the day, you had companies doing perhaps $100 a day in sales with valuations of $50 million. So eventually it all crashed. It took the good companies down with it too. So now we have the EV industry booming, and we've seen similar vaporware products from companies like Nikola and other competitors like Neo growing massively in popularity with riding this EV wave. But is it really an EV wave, or is it just a Tesla wave? And perhaps the EV bubble will burst, but Tesla will stay, as they have proven they can make profits and have the best tech. So it wouldn't appear that Tesla shows any signs of any of these past bubbles. But if we do take some of these bubbles into account, then if Tesla actually did bubble, it could still go up 20 more times possibly. Then it might be a different story. All right, thanks for listening. Hit the thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe. I look forward to your comments.